Hi everyone, welcome to Ohio State Online. Today we are hosting a Facebook Live information session. It'll be a really informal session, but we'll have a high-level overview of the Master of Applied Clinical and Preclinical Research program, and also the alumna perspective of a student who is in the program. The Masters of Applied Clinical and Preclinical program is commonly known as the MACPR program. I'm here today with Nikki Herbert, the program manager, and also Jen Pavensak, the alumna. Nikki, would you like to do an introduction of yourself?
So my name is Nikki Herbert. I'm the program manager for the Master of Applied Clinical and Preclinical Research program. I work with students in this phase of learning about our program, so the recruitment phase, applying to the program, and really working with students throughout the life cycle of the program all the way through graduation.
And then Jen?
So just a little bit about my background. So I have a degree in animal sciences from The Ohio State University. I also have a degree in pharmacology and toxicology from Wright State University. And then my most recent degree is the MACPR degree, which I finished in 2017 here at Ohio State.
So the MACPR program is 100% online, and I know that there are two specialization tracks. Would you be able to go into them a little bit deeper for me?
Sure. So we have clinical research management and regulatory affairs. And basically our clinical research management focuses on the management of systems and processes and the conduct of clinical trials. And regulatory affairs focuses on the assurance of safe and effective medical product development and use throughout the product life cycle through regulatory oversight and strategy.
Okay. What if I wanted to complete both programs? How long would that take me?
Yeah, so that would be 42 credit hours, typically to complete one of these specializations with the core courses, the specialization coursework, electives. It's usually a 36 credit hour program.
Okay.
We have a variety of different options, as I think we'll get into later.
Yeah.
But yeah, typically our students will complete the program in either 12 or 24 months. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, I think.
So Jen, which track did you choose and how long did it take you to complete it?
So I did the regulatory affairs specialization. So I guess in practice, I was a toxicologist, so I did research, and in doing that research at Patel, I found that one of the pieces missing to my puzzle of my career was that regulatory affairs piece. It was not experience that I was getting through my employment, so that regulatory affairs track seemed very attractive to me as something that would help to round out my portfolio, if you will, so it would hopefully make me more valuable in the future. So I did that regulatory affairs specialization. I was fortunate enough to do it in 12 months as a full-time student. So that was really nice to be able to get it done, get it complete, and move on.
Yeah. Did you feel like your experience from your previous degrees from Wright State and from Ohio State, and also your experience at Patel, helped you while you were in the MACPR program?
Yeah, so I did find that a lot of the courses continued to emphasize some of my learnings from my professional career, from being out in industry. I felt like it was a good fit for me. One of the things that I did kind of as a non-traditional student is I decided to kind of dip my toe in the water before I started the program officially. So I did take a couple of courses, graduate non-degree, prior to actually enrolling in the program. Part of that was due to the time that I wanted to gain admission to the program.
Yeah.
So I was past the application deadline. So I was able to take stuff graduate non-degree through the grad school and then transfer those course hours into the program.
Okay. So Nikki, what is a typical MACPR student and what requirements do you have to have admissions into the program?
So we actually have students coming from a variety of different backgrounds. We have students who come to us right out of their bachelor's degree, all the way to those who have had 5, 10, 15 plus years of experience in the field. We require a bachelor's, but not a specific background. So it could be in business, it could be in the sciences. We've had public health, social sciences, but we require that people apply online and pay their application fee. We also require that you submit 3 letters of reference. So for some of our people who are applying coming directly out of school, it would make sense for them to have instructors or people who have had them in a classroom setting. For others who have been in the field and, it might have been a while since they've been in school, it's perfectly fine for them to have supervisors or work colleagues, who know them well and have positive things to say. We also require an updated resume or CV, transcripts of all college coursework completed, and then a statement of purpose and goals. So that's, telling us a bit about their background, their interest in the program, why Ohio State and this program specifically, and we go into a lot more details on our website. So.
Just to mention, the website that she's mentioning is online.osu.edu/MACPR. This will get you more of the stuff that she's talking about. I know that it's hard to write everything down. And also it will get you in contact with Nikki if you have any more questions about it.
If I could dovetail off of
Sure,
Nikki,
please.
one of the things that's great about this program is that we do admit all 3 semesters. So if you do miss a deadline, that you don't have to wait a full year to enroll.
Which
into the program.
semester is the most popular semester that you usually see?
So by far, our largest pool of applicants typically will come to us in autumn, in the fall. So we just wrapped up that semester. And right now, actually, we're in day 2 of spring semester. Currently, we're admitting for summer with a deadline of February 1st. And actually, our fall application is open as well. And that deadline is May 1st.
Okay.
So,
Jen, what was your experience like going through the MACPR program?
I would say it was a really interesting program to go through. There were so many things that I liked about the program. I liked the fact that it was asynchronous. I could be full-time mom during the day and, log in and watch my lectures at night, weekends. There was no requirement in any of my courses to, be online at a specific time at a specific place. So had I been a full-time employee, it would have been very manageable from that aspect to be able to, work a regular 40-hour-a-week schedule and then actually do your courses as well.
Were you able to connect with faculty members and other peers while you were in this online program?
I really do think so. A lot of the courses, while they might seem large for an online environment, some of the courses do have 40 to 50 students in them. So many of the instructors break the students out into smaller groups for discussions and for group projects and stuff. So I feel like you really kind of got to know somebody during a semester and, in those smaller groups because you were constantly interacting with that same core group of people. And then it was nice that you might see them in the next class or at least see a familiar name on the roster, so it was nice that if you could make those connections.
Awesome. Nikki, what courses are included in the MACPR program?
So the coursework would be specific to your specialization. So depending on your specialization of interests, there are courses in leadership, project management. There is a biostats course that students will take. There's really a variety because the program is interdisciplinary. So you could be taking classes offered out of the College of Nursing, the College of Pharmacy, College of Medicine. So a lot of different options.
That's awesome. And at the end, whether you are the clinical research management track or the regulatory affairs track, there is some sort of final capstone project. Jen, would you be able to go into your final project?
Yeah, so my capstone project, it was very meaningful to me personally. I had just found out that my grandmother had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. So it was a disease that I was very unfamiliar with. So I wanted to tie that into my capstone, just because I feel like sometimes if you can have something meaningful to you, it's easier to dedicate that time to. So it was kind of serving double duty for me. I was doing my research to help my family and then also to complete my my capstone. So my capstone project was how would direct-to-consumer testing, which was very hot then as 23andMe had just been approved by the FDA. So how would direct-to-consumer testing potentially create a pool of individuals who are genetically predisposed to Alzheimer's disease and how that could possibly impact the research out there. So it was a very cool project that I really enjoyed doing.
Was it nerve-wracking at all to present this project?
No, so my capstone presentation was in a Starbucks.
Yeah.
So I'm local here to the Columbus, Ohio area. A lot of the students in the program might not be. You know, they might be in California or you know, Carolina or wherever.
Colorado.
You know, so it was nice that I was able to have that like in-person presentation. But I've seen other students, you know, do it online or in small groups online. So we sat down and I did my presentation and had coffee and had a discussion afterwards. And
I'm sure you've had a lot of experience presenting sort of these projects that you're finding, but I know that there could be a lot of students in the MACPR program that don't have that experience at all. So does that give them the experience that they are looking for if they are part of the track?
yeah, so I would say a capstone presentation, you know, it's very comparable to like a thesis defense, but it's in a much lower stakes environment, you know, if it's one-on-one or, you know, just a couple of other students and your advisor. But I do think that is an invaluable experience for anyone, you know, looking to advance their career and in clinical research or in preclinical research, you know, that ability to present and talk in front of a group of people. It's very nerve-wracking the first time you're in a room full of clients and you have to, you know, stand up there and talk about what you're doing. So I think anytime you have to stand up and communicate, it's a definite positive.
This question is for both of you. So it's pretty nerve-wracking being an online student, especially if you are a non-traditional student who hasn't been in school for a very long time. What advice do you have for students starting their journey online?
Well, I can get started. I mean, there are so many great resources here at Ohio State. You know, starting at the program level, we send students, you know, a variety of different things via email. Ohio State Online is a great resource for, you know, providing tips to students for online learning, you know, even just getting started. You know, we highly encourage students to reach out to us. We start off the program with kind of welcome communications, but then also an orientation where we will literally walk you through using Carmen, which is the learning management system where all of the classes are housed.
Yes.
And it's, you know, we really try our hardest to make it a stress-free situation. You know, letting students know if they have questions, if something doesn't make sense. You know, there are a lot of people here to help them and resources. You know, really our goal is to help them be successful. So I guess that's from my perspective how we help them get started.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll dovetail off that. So that was one of the most intimidating things for me. So I finished my bachelor's degree in 2002. I know I just dated myself. But there were no online classes then.
Right.
So when I looked at the program and it said 100% online, I'm like, oh my, they do that now? Like, I mean, I kind of knew they did that, but you know, it was very intimidating to think about it. And so it was interesting, you know, going through the orientation sessions, going through the Canvas help guides. There really are just a wealth of information, a wealth of resources that are made available for the students. Instructors are excellent resources. If they can't answer a question for you, they'll point you in the direction of the right person who can. They really want to see the students succeed. You know, I feel like the instructors are very vested in your growth as a student and as a professional. So they really want to help you succeed. So that was very encouraging.
And I'm sure you both can answer this question, but the instructors are from every college, or not every college, but the three main colleges. So the College of Pharmacy, College of Nursing, and the College of Medicine.
Yes.
Did you feel like you were able to pull expertise from all these different parts of the university?
I feel like, yes. I feel like it's great to have their different experiences as well. You know, there's such a diverse pool of applicants and students in the program that it is nice to see, you know, that reflected in the faculty. You know, if you had faculty strictly from a single discipline, I think that it could be a little bit more narrow in focus. Whereas I think that a lot of the course titles, like if you read the course titles, they'll be global trial product development, or you know, and they really are in that regard because of the expertise of the different faculty members.
Something to point out too before we forget is that we also have faculty who are experts, who are, you know, not on the, you know, not working for a college at Ohio State, but currently working in the field. who teach for us. So, people who work at contract research organizations, in an upper level position that are teaching for us. And I think that has brought a really unique perspective to the program as well.
That's awesome. So currently, I would like to just open up the floor for questions for our viewers. If not, we can continue on with what we're doing now. But if there are any questions, please submit them in the comment form on the Facebook Live event. So I know that you mentioned the instructors are our biggest tool and our biggest resource. What were the different ways you were able to communicate with them? Obviously, you're an online student. You can't walk into their office for their office hours, or just pop by and see if they're in there at all. How did you reach out to them?
So we didn't do any Facebook Lives. I can't say that. But we were able to use a number of different online tools. So within the learning management system, there is a online classroom called Carmen Connect. So that was a way to meet with instructors. But then there's also, I guess,
Skype.
newer platforms, Skype or Zoom or even Google Hangouts. Or that old-fashioned phone call that we used to text most of the time. You can actually, but I did text instructors as well. I felt like they were very receptive to all forms of communication. And one thing that I really appreciated was the fact that a lot of the instructors are still professionals. So like Nikki mentioned, so they might be traveling for their full-time job, and they are kind enough to say, hey, I'm on travel this week. I see your message. I will get back to you. So it didn't feel impersonal. I felt like you were able to really form a connection with a lot of the instructors, which was nice.
That's awesome. And that's also a great way to network with them. And I'm sure you network with other students.
Yeah. It was nice to be able to develop those connections and, kind of work through. And it's interesting. I feel like in every job that everybody has that you kind of get on blinders and you don't see what's going on around you.
Yeah.
Right.
So it is nice to hear about other people's experiences and hear about other people's career paths and, where do they think they're going to be in 5 years?
Yeah.
And, be like, maybe I should look into that.
Yeah. Nikki, I'm sure that you've made so many connections with students over the years. I know that you've always sent me students to talk to, and they're always so great and so open, and most of them I'm able to meet up with them no matter how far they are or on Skype. But yeah. I think that we are wrapping up the session right now. So thank you everyone who joined us. If you have any more questions, please email us at osuonline@osu.edu. And visit the site at online.osu.edu/MACPR.